Dr. Church, thank you for those kind words. Dr. Church, Student Senate President Madison, Staff Council President Collins, Chairman of the Board Mike Sherman, faculty, and especially the several hundred graduates, proud graduates, 2008 Lorain County Community College. We are so proud of your accomplishment. And as a fellow Lorain County, and I'm particularly thrilled to be here today, and I so appreciate Roy Church's introduction and the work that so many of you do to put Lorain, to put LC on the map in our country. As Dr. Church said, you know that LC is the fastest growing college in the entire state. What I know as a member of the Senate Education Committee, what I know is that Lorain County Community College is one of the best community colleges in the entire United States of America. I'm not going to preach at you today. I'm not going to lecture you. I'm not going to make a really long speech. I know better than that because I know why family members are here and why you're all here. But I am going to tell you one thing. I ask you to give your families a break today, your parents, those of you that have children, your spouse, your husbands, your wives, your friends. Be patient with them. They're going to cry. They're going to want to hug you. They're going to fawn over you. They're going to want to take picture after picture after picture, especially the high school kids in the front two rows. Make sure you're just nice. You had to do it once this week. I imagine you already had your graduation, or is that later? That's later. So you get to do it twice, but just be patient with them. And you're not going to, in your lives, you don't have too many days like this one. So I just ask you to celebrate your accomplishments. The college told me about some of you. They told me about one of you who left an abusive relationship, got her life together, is going to be a social worker and help others through similar situations. They told me about one of you who worked at Ford for several years and is now, after your degree, preparing to go to law school this fall. They told me about another one of you who is a Coast Guard retiree who has studied IT and is going to be a computer networker in the weeks and months and years ahead. And they told me about the 30 of you from Elyria High School who are in the early college high school program, and we're proud of all of you for all of that. They also told me a sadder story about Shelley Smith. Shelley Smith, I met Shelley Smith when I presented her some years ago when she was at Clearview High School with a Congressional Service Award, and Shelley had her leg amputated she was a high school star softball player, all conference, had her leg amputated from cancer and during her senior year, I believe, and she passed away last fall, and she had went to class right up 3 days before she died, and she will be getting a posthumous degree today. So we think too about her. What the college didn't tell me, but what I already know, is how hard all of you have worked to get here today. So many of you have full-time jobs. So many of you are raising children. So many of you are working 2 or 3 part-time jobs. So many of you are taking care of sick family members. I know these things because I see Lorain County Community College students working at Fligner's and Heinen's and Drug Mart. I see Lorain County Community College students along parade routes in Lorain and Elyria with children in tow. I see Lorain County Community College's students when Connie and I eat in restaurants in Ridgeville and Avon. You're graduating today from LC because you chose to carve out a path for yourself, and in many cases, maybe the first in your family to do that. And I would like, if I could break from protocol for a moment, Dr. Church, I'd like all of you who are first in your family to get a college degree to stand up. My wife, Connie Schultz, is first in her family to go to college a few years ago, back at Kent State University, and she talks often about how difficult a challenge it is when you're first in your family. So special congratulations to you. You make all of us proud. You make your family especially proud, but you make all of us proud. In the last 15 months or so, I've spent a good bit of my time when in Ohio, which is pretty much every week, on weekends and during the week sometimes. I spend a good bit of my time conducting roundtables of 15 or 20 people in communities around Ohio, talking to a cross-section of people in a community and listening to them for an hour and a half or so, talk about their issues and problems and hopes and dreams. And one of the things that's come through in community after community, not just in Lorain County, but all over this state, is employers telling me how difficult it is to find employees who are qualified to do the work that they need done. That's one reason your degree today is so very, very important to you and for our community. For some of you, your associate degree is exactly what you need for a better job and a better life. For others of you, a four-year degree will lead to a career limited only by your imagination and your ambition and your drive. And that means everything for our community. That's why community colleges are so important, because they say everything about our community. Most of you will stay here and work here, close to family and close to friends. And all of you, one way or another, wherever you go, in whatever line of work you're in, will have the opportunity to serve our community. I grew up about 50 miles south of here in Mansfield, and I grew up lucky, loving parents, good schools. I worked on a family farm every summer, and I grew up with privilege. My father was a family doctor who made house calls and who treated patients regardless of their ability to pay. My mother never had to work outside the home, and she volunteered countless hours in the community. When I was 21, a man twice my age asked me to consider a career in public service to run for the state legislature. Okay, some of you graduates are thinking, what a nerd. I understand that. And I know some of your parents are thinking, no, not my kid doing that. But I would argue that there is honor in public service, or there should be honor in public service. Particularly when you read the papers nowadays, we know we need honorable public servants more than ever. I'm certainly not saying to the graduates that all of you should run for public office, but what I am saying is that some of you should consider doing that, especially women and especially minorities, because there are far too few of you in the halls of the legislature and in the halls of Congress. And I'm saying you all should consider public service, activism, being a citizen, all defined in so many ways. All of you can be that. A Mississippi civil rights leader 40 years ago said, don't tell me what you believe, show me what you do, and I'll tell you what you believe. You can be a public servant, not just in your workday, but you can be a public servant when you're a teacher staying after school helping a struggling child learn math or English. You can be a public servant as a firefighter going to New Orleans after Katrina. You can be a public servant as an accountant by volunteering to help low-income working families fill out their earned income tax credits so they get a little help back on their taxes from their work. You can be a public servant if you're a nurse working at the Lorain Free Clinic. You can be a public servant if you're a paralegal helping immigrants. You can be public servants as joining thousands of business people and laborers and clerks and bankers and social workers working at Habitat for Humanity or working at Catholic Charities or in soup kitchens or volunteering for your church. All of you can be public servants in that way, and probably no one said it better many years ago, actually 98 years ago, than President Theodore Roosevelt. He said, "The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself for a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who knew neither victory nor defeat." I hope to see you graduates, 2008, Lorain County Community College. I hope to see you all in the arena in the years ahead, because America needs you. Thank you.